Welkom bij Drop or Dram, de whisky podcast. En voor deze speciale tweeluik trekken we naar de ruige kust van Noord Ierland, waar whisky niet alleen wordt gemaakt, maar ook wordt beleefd. In de eerste aflevering bezoeken we de Harbourview Hotel in Carlow. Het eerste whiskyhotel van Ierland. En samen met eigenaar Adrian McLaughlin ontdekken we boottrips langs de kust, een geheime barrelroom en waarom dit hotel inmiddels het spirituele thuis van Limavady is geworden. In de andere aflevering zitten we met master distiller Daryl McNally, de man achter Limavady Irish Whisky. En we duiken in zijn visie op Ierse whisky, vakmanschap en waarom Limavady net even anders durft te zijn. Dus ik zeg, pak een glas en luister met ons mee.
Dit is Drop or Dram, de podcast voor whiskyliefhebbers. Van beginner tot kenner. Schenk je favoriete glas in en geniet met ons mee.
Ja, ik ben afgereisd naar Noord Ierland, een plekje die toch ook wel in mijn hart gesloten is. Want we hebben het altijd over Ierland, maar Noord Ierland is echt gewoon een vergeten stukje Ierland. En ik ben heel erg afgereisd naar een klein plaatsje Carlow. Het ligt in 50 minuutjes van Belfast af en het is eigenlijk het allermooiste plekje als uitvalsbasis te gebruiken om heel Noord Ierland te ontdekken. En zeker de kust van Noord Ierland. Maar ja, waar ben je dan in Carlow? Nou, ik ben hier in het eerste whiskyhotel van Ierland, de Harbourview Hotel. Daar heb ik een prachtige kamer die kijkt over de zee uit en de kleine haven. Ja, er is niet heel veel in het plekje, maar wat ik zeg, de rust hier is. Ze hebben een whisky bar met meer dan 250, 300 verschillende Irish whiskies. Ze hebben een kleine pub. Ze hebben een fantastische mooie hotelkamers. Ze hebben een lounge voor de hotel residents. Ze hebben een fantastisch restaurant. Ja, wat meer? Nou, wat meer? Ik zit hier met de eigenaar en mede-eigenaar Adrian McLaughlin. Samen met zijn partner Daryl McNally, die we kennen van Limavady Whisky, hebben zij hier dat whiskyhotel. Dus ja, we gaan hem aan de tand voelen, want waarom moeten we nou weer zijn in dit whiskyhotel? Adrian, thank you very much for having me. You put me up in one of the rooms, which I really, really love, with the most wonderful pillows everywhere in the world you can never imagine. So it was very hard for waking up to me, but then I had the breakfast, the freshly cooked breakfast, and then, well, that won me over. But thank you very much for having me. But it's the first whiskey hotel in Ireland ever. But first, back to the beginning. What a little bit of history of the White Hotel.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming as well. We appreciate you taking the time to come and visit us here in Carlow. The hotel dates back to 1848 and was built by the Marchioness of Londonderry. She was as close to royalty as we could find in these parts, a very, very influential family. They also built their summer residence, which is now a school, which is where I was educated. And that's in a place called Garran Tower. It was bought over by the Catholic religion in 1950 and became a boarding school. It was run by priests, but the beauty of the building is stunning. It's a castle. It's got battlements. It's got cannon. It's the most beautiful place to go to school, I think, in Ireland. So that was part of her estate. She also dug the harbour and made the harbour fit for commercial maritime traffic, and also built the railway line to the quarry. And if you look at the back of the hotel and you look up to the mountain, you'll see the limestone has been carved out from the mountain. The railway brought the lime from the quarry to the harbour, and from the harbour to England, where it was used for other industrial purposes. So she was a real entrepreneur, and in the late 1800s, this was a really industrial little village. There was great employment, there was good wages. So yeah, she had a real influence in the village, and she owned the hotel. So that's where our history dates back to. the original property is still here, and it's been added onto a little bit since. And then in another part of our history, that the hotel was owned by Winston Churchill from 1921 to 1923. He inherited it. He was not a direct descendant of the Marchioness of Londonderry, and there was a couple of disjointed things happened, but he inherited the building and the estate in 1921. He didn't stay around too long, and I think actually 1921 to 1923, I think suggests it took him 2 years to sell the whole thing. So he wasn't interested in staying around Carnlough, but it's part of our history and we like to talk about it.
And what a great history it is already. And it's always been a hotel, and it's beautiful, situated just across the road from the harbor. The old railway line with the beautiful facade on the side here, the big walls. First of all, there was the remains of a castle. It looked like a little bit like that. And now you obtained it a couple of years ago and converted it in this most absolutely amazing hotel. And the first whiskey hotel ever.
Yeah, so working with Darryl on a number of different whiskey projects, the opportunity came up to buy this hotel, and him and I kind of decided that it was a good investment opportunity. And as we bought the hotel and I started formulating kind of design plans and what could we do and where could we position it, because clearly that's my area of expertise. I'm the hotelier, he's the master distiller. So as things went on, him and I started working up the plans for the whiskey hotel. Scotland had whiskey hotels, and many of them, and I visited some as part of our research. Some were really impressive and others weren't. And we came back and decided that, we should, the Irish whiskey industry now is big enough to have an Irish whiskey hotel, solely focused on Irish whiskey. We don't need American. We don't need Scotch anymore. We don't need Japanese. Let's try it. And we could, and we did, more research. And I realized that there's probably 400 different Irish whiskies I could get into this hotel. We've currently got 300, but so that was the foundation. But we've expertise from my background and on networks from before, where we needed to showcase Irish whiskey. So how could we best showcase Irish whiskey? Anybody can go and find 300 whiskies and put them on a shelf and make them look nice. But what could we do? So we created cocktail menus using Irish whiskies. We've created highball menus. We've created 28 different flights of whiskey, all Irish. And we have
very impressive.
Yeah. It took me a bit of time. We started year one, we had 11, and now we're up to 28. So I spent the winter just curating and planning and putting things together. We bought interesting old heritage whiskies. I think you may have seen some of the 1940s Bushmills, the Crock of Tullamore Dew going back to the 1950s. So we got all sorts of different eras of whiskey, styles of whiskey, brands of whiskey, stories of whiskey. And we've put them together into something quite special. So we wanted to be sure that we could showcase the industry, and not just Outwalker Irish whiskey or Limavady Irish whiskey.
This is the spiritual home.
Spiritual home for
two of the brands. You're involved with heavily, but
so we're very happy to sample those to everybody who comes, and that's the whiskies we sample first. Obviously, that's fine. But we need to have a knowledge of Redbreast, Green Spot. We need to understand Middleton Very Rare. We need to understand the Bushmills. We've probably got the biggest range of Bushmills whiskies in any bar in Ireland. So we needed to have a significant product knowledge of other whiskies. And we could do that without conflicting ourselves with our own whiskies, because we're the first whiskey hotel. So it all made sense. It did not start like that. It evolved.
Yeah.
Happy to say we were awarded by the Sunday Times and the Times magazine as the best place to stay in Northern Ireland. And recently we've achieved 4 stars by our local tourism authority, which are 2 accolades in less than a year's of operation that I'm pretty proud of. more on behalf of the team because they've just been brilliant for me. But
the team here is, we have to address the team.
Yeah.
just address the team. It's not only the chef, it is all the staff here. It's the receptionist, it's the breakfast people, it's the restaurant. It's so nice people. It's most of them are local.
Yeah. The majority of them are local. I think we may have someone who lives 20 miles away. That's local. That's still local. It's probably described as old school hospitality, where we have private dinners. The chef will come out and sing a song because he's a singer, right? We allow our staff to be themselves. We want them to be themselves. We want them to be of this part of Ireland, of this particular place in the Glens of Antrim, and there's an authenticity to this place, and we want them to showcase that through themselves and being friendly, being professional, and having some fun as well. That's the three bywords of our culture, service culture: fun, friendly, professional. But more than that, they're just friends of ours now. They're not staff. There's no big great structure. We enjoy each other's company inside of work, outside of work. The guys come to my house, I go to their house. It's what it is. It's a family, and I've heard people say that before, and I get a bit cringy with that. But this is a family.
Yeah, and it even feels so as a guest. I just came in, and they know I was a guest of you, but it doesn't really matter. I can go around, walk in and out every room. There's nobody asking questions. You're just part of the family straight away, except of something that I'm ordering dinner and they're making my dinner. But that's probably the only part where as guest and staff meets halfway. But it's an amazing hotel anyway, with kind of different rooms, because you have your residential lounge where you can sit down by the fire. Absolutely amazing, beautiful place with great art bottles. Just the rooms are amazing. You've done it well. Very cozy, great furniture. It's lovely, and then a real old style pub.
Yeah.
And even a cafe.
Yeah.
And a whiskey bar.
Yeah.
And all in one place.
And the warehouse.
And the warehouse, yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. Yeah, you got the secret warehouse upstairs where you have some maturations of casks where people can even, taste straight from the cask for the whiskey.
Yeah.
Bottle their own whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah, so that came.
It is a whiskey lover's dream.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a whiskey lover, for sure, a whiskey lover's dream. I think when as I said, we started with, having a lot of Irish whiskey. Then how do we showcase Irish whiskey? And then quite quickly after, Darryl and I, kind of talked about a part of the hotel that was the old village hall, and the old village hall where. It used to be the village cinema. It used to be where there would have been class recitals. There would have been, there was a boxing ring in there. It was a real village hall. And it came with the hotel. It was really just a storage area for old rubbish, really. And we cleaned it up and thought, there's something nice about this room. It feels really old, and it is. And could we bring casks of whiskey in here, small casks, in a small way, in a very boutique way, and blend, bottle, and finish our own whiskey for Carnlough. And that's what we did. And so that was I can't say the final service that we provided, because you were on the other service that we provided earlier on today.
We'll touch on that later on. Yeah.
So the cask room came, Darryl and I and Carl, under Darryl's tutelage, obviously, but he took us to a cooperage in Porto, so south of Porto. We met these amazing people, and we brought some casks back with us. Darryl was extremely happy with the quality and the workmanship, the process, and for me it was just meeting nice people, and you knew you could do business, and that was great. So we brought these casks back, and then we released about 700 bottles of whiskey just before Christmas 2025. They're nearly all sold out. But it proved a point. It proved to us that we could create a brand. We could work up the labeling. We could come up with a blended process that made nice whiskies. We could promote it, and we could allow people to enjoy it. So we could do all those things, having had the facility. So that allowed us to extend our reach again. We call our whiskey Carnlough Irish whiskey, because we're the hotel in the village, but we want to promote the village. If we promote the village, the hotel benefits anyway. So very simple name. And yeah, so the warehouse now, we offer experiences so people can go up, guests can go, and we will do a sampling of the whiskies. They can draw it straight from the cask. We'll explain our wood program. We'll explain the cooperage. We're completely transparent in everything that we do. We'll explain what distilleries we use to get the whiskey. We'll explain the brand. The brand hero or heroine is Annie Murray. She was a famous poaching maker in the next bay along, and we can actually take people to the cave where she made the whiskies, and we can drink whiskies in the cave. So that added an awful lot onto our bow. And if ever there was doubt about what an Irish whiskey hotel might be, well, that's been taken away now, because we can actually blend, bottle, and finish our own whiskey. We've got wood on site, we've got a process, we've got a brand. So it really is a deeper delve and a deeper working into the beauty of what we believe. We're so proud of Irish whiskey, right? So why not just do that as well? So yeah.
And why not here in Carlo? Because when I first thought, oh, there's a whiskey hotel coming up in Northern Ireland or in Ireland, I thought, well, that's going to be Belfast or Dublin. But this was just a tiny little village just up there. And I thought, why here? But on the other hand, it made really, really good sense because it's so easy to get to Belfast. Mm-hmm. It's only 50-minute drive up here in the beautiful countryside.
Yeah.
Peace and quiet around. It's not too much things to do straight from the village, but that makes the beauty. So you've got your great food here anyway. Yeah. So that's absolutely no problem. You don't have to go further than 500 meters from the hotel anyway. But it's also a great place for to start from, because it's easy reach to Belfast, but it's easy reach to all the beautiful sites that you have along the coast. Even the giant causeway is just a stone throw away, more or less.
Yeah. 100%. And we are on the coast. We are on the coast road. It's a beautiful drive to get here. And I think we're in the Glens of Antrim. And the Glens of Antrim, when I came back, I worked in London for many years. I came back in 1999. Tourism in Northern Ireland really had three products. One was the Giant's Causeway. One was Fermanagh Lakes, where you could hire boats, and it's beautiful there as well. And the other was the Glens of Antrim. And it's been forgotten about. This is slow tourism personified here. It is absolutely stunning. You can walk into the mountains. You can swim in the sea. You can take in beautiful waterfalls. It's absolutely stunning here, and it's unheard of. And that's the nice piece. So this was a good location for us, I think. And the building lent itself to what we wanted to do. If we take the history of the building going back to 1848, if you take the history of Irish whiskey going back in this area, say to 1608, history, hospitality, and whiskey, they work hand in hand. And I think that those things came together to provide a hotel it is accessible, and you're glad you've made the effort when you get here, and that's most important.
Yeah, and you take it a step beyond, because everybody was like, okay, hotel, good food, good rooms, and whiskey. What else do I want? But you brought both worlds together in something. I had the experience. A lovely experience. You own your own boat, so you're bringing Scotch and Irish whiskey together. Because what's that about? You have your own boat. We've been on the boat before, but you're taking people across the Irish Sea to Scotland.
Yeah, again, it was a bit of that one was difficult to square, because we're an Irish whiskey hotel. Why do we want to take people to Scotland? The simple answer really is that this part of Ireland and the distillery areas, so Islay and Campbelltown and that Argyll coast, is an ancient kingdom called Dalriata. And there was always connections through commerce, through kinship, through family, through work, through commercial sales across the sea. And part of our initial objectives were to try and recreate that, some relationships. So one of the first places we went to was Limavady. So when we took our staff, when we closed for refurbishment to reset the culture of whiskey, we took them on a boat to Limavady and to Ardbeg. just to set the scene. And it was kind of symbolic, because we were setting out in a new journey and we were leaving the old history behind us, okay? And so we wanted to, and we've had Bruichladdich came to Carnlough Whisky Festival last year, which is in August. Bruichladdich had a great day for us. It was fantastic. And this August we have Springbank are coming. So Islay and Campbelltown, we want to just create connections. And we also know that there's an awful lot of Irish whisky enthusiasts who love Scottish whisky. Why wouldn't you? That's fine. And if we can be the bridge to that and do it in an exciting way and have people come and experience the hotel, whilst also have the ability to go across to Scotland for the day, well, I think that's just fantastic. And it adds to our unique positioning, that because no one else is doing this, right? And we're in a lovely place where we are making the rules up as we go along. So myself and the other owners of the business, we just have a discussion and say, yeah, go for it, right? And that's a nice place to be. And we're happy to trial and trial new things. And this is obviously a very new thing. So we'll see how it goes.
But it is, Scotland and Ireland have more in common than you think in the first place. But you explained it very, very well, that it is one big area, one big family, and best of both worlds. And that made me think, because I know a lot of whiskey enthusiasts that always go to high levels, because it's the holy grail, if you like, peated whiskies, of course. But on a personal note, I know how difficult it is to get to Islay. I tried 3 times. I failed 3 times. First, the ferry was cancelled. Then my flight was going back to Glasgow Airport because we couldn't land. And the 3rd time it was cancelled by all the way. And I thought, well, how the hell do I get to Islay? Or even Campbelltown, that's a 4 or 5 hour drive from Glasgow, and you still have to go in Glasgow. But it's so much easier to fly into Belfast City or Belfast International. Mm-hmm. Good connections there. Stay here at a hotel and get the boat across.
Yeah,
because you make life so much easier now for Scottish whiskey enthusiasts.
Yeah, we're closer to Islay and to Campbelltown than Glasgow. It's a fact, and we are look a bit like your experiences. We are weather dependent.
Of course, we know we can't make the crossing every single day.
No, but we also know that. And maybe your listeners won't know, but there's a really active boating businesses in this area. And Ballycastle, which is a bigger town further along the coast, there's 4 different guys operating boats back and forth to Islay and to Campbelltown every day. So there is demand there. If we can do it, and we can do it in a whiskey lover's way, then that's what we'll do. And we're talking about trying to maybe get a small cask, put it on the boat, put some whiskey in there, and allow our customers to tap them their own drams while they're cruising across, or when we get to the other side, perhaps with some fresh oysters, or
except
something
for the skipper.
Except for the skipper, of course. Yeah.
No, that's amazing, because that is something new that's not been done. It's a completely different experience. Also, with the 28 single flights you serve here in the bar, I tried one. I'm only staying here for 3 days. It's going to be tough. I'm not. I probably won't make it through all of it, but it's absolutely wonderful. And I think the experience you got here in the Harbourview Hotel is amazing. It is, for me as a whiskey lover, it's beautiful. But just being here, it feels like home. It really feels like home. It's so easy to get around, and absolutely amazing. With, like I said, the extras you get, the boat rides, but you do the whiskey flights. Breakfast is beautiful. Mm-hmm. But you can also pass through here and have lunch here if you want to explore some of the great sides of Northern Ireland. Especially when you're a Game of Thrones fan, almost everything has been filmed along the coast here. Even the harbour used to star in Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of things to see. And I think most people don't think as a holiday destination of Northern Ireland. They go to Dublin and go down south. Wrong, I think.
I'm glad you think that.
This is absolutely stunning.
Yeah. Belfast is a nice city to go to. It's easy to get around. And there's some really good independent bars and restaurants in Belfast. And I think this part of the world is a beautiful place to come. Yes, it's not a city destination. You're not going to run from one bar to the next and from one Michelin star restaurant to the next, but you can chill out, you can enjoy the fresh air, you can look at the beautiful scenery. And what we've provided is a place to come enjoy some really good quality local produce. And if you want to indulge in whiskey, this is the playground. However, if you don't, we've got a great wine list. We do also a very good bramble cocktail. We do lots of mojitos. It's not. We have to remind ourselves it's not all about whiskey, but if you are about whiskey, you're going to have a great time here.
Absolutely. And that's the point. We don't do many reviews. Well, this isn't a review. We don't do normally podcasts only about whiskey, but this was the place when I heard about it and I got the invite. I must say, I was like, yeah, this is something different. We need to address this. And well, I'm staying here, so keep an eye on this podcast. But Adrian, thank you again for having me in this lovely place and showing me around and experiencing most of the things that we can do here. And keep up the good work. And I'm totally waiting for your next experience because. With your experience in the hotel business and all the things you already established in a year's time, there must be more surprises than this coming from you.
Yeah, we'll let's wait and see.
We'll keep it at.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very, very much for joining me here in the podcast, and just have some good lunch.
Yo, and thank you very much for coming again. It's really good to have you here, and I hope your listeners enjoy this.
And not only enjoy this podcast, but enjoy the hotel. Guys, come over. Just do it.
Dit was Drop or Dram. Vergeet niet om je te abonneren op onze podcast of kijk op onze website www.dropordram.nl. Tot de volgende keer.